What's up everyone, welcome back to It's About Cars, here again with another video on the MiTo. Finally we are talking suspension. For that we have the Bilstein B14, not the 16, that's not available. Du dreckiger Hund.
Jetzt reißen Sie sich gefälligst am Riemen.
Okay. So, wir lassen den Anfang aber drin, oder?
Definitiv.
So, the Bilstein B14, that's gonna go into the car. That's empty, by the way. So, we already did the other side of the car. So, we're only going to do this side. I've done the other side already just to make sure that I don't run into any problems with the kit. In this video, we will talk about everything that is required for the installment of this B14 suspension kit. It claims to be a very good suspension tested on the Nürburgring. We will probably do a lot of laps on the Nürburgring, so I wanted to get a suspension that is, at least tested there, so it fits the requirements. And if it fits the Nürburgring requirements, then it will probably fit the Hockenheimring and all the other tracks in Germany as well. I'd say, without further
Enough with the chitty chatty, let's go into engineering, aren't we?
So yeah, let's get started in the front of the car. Actually, not at the suspension itself down here, but we will start up here to remove that plastic and then reach the nut under that. So that is going in there. Beautiful, isn't it? That is the part number, by the way. I don't know if it focuses on the number or not, but in case you need it, I'll put it into the description if I don't forget it. I recorded the dampers in action, the OEM dampers in action previously. So we will record the new dampers after we've put them in. But yeah, like I said, we have to start at the top, and that's what we're gonna do. Okay. After you carefully remove that rubber here, you have to unscrew that screw here. That's pretty straightforward. And I'm gonna lift that plastic up, just like that. Put a screwdriver right there, so it's holding up like that. That's the strut bearing, and there's a lot of dirt in there. So it's an 18 here at the top, 18 millimeters. I'm not sure though. Nope. Okay, let's just quickly remove that one too, so we don't run into breaking that plastic. I messed up which one to open first. Of course we need to open these two bolts here first. Then we need to do the coupling rod, which I did first, and that's totally stupid. But yeah, I did it now. So, and then we open up the strut mounts at the top. We won't get the bolt out of there completely. We just open it and so that it's movable in there. And then we will open, or you would open the coupling rod and then the strut mount. Actually, it doesn't look like it, but you can do it with your own hands. Okay. Ooh, they look really nice. So good that I am reusing these and not renewing the nuts and bolts. Really good idea. Seriously guys, renew your bolts and nuts. It's not too expensive. You see almost the entire bolt here, which is the last one, the other one is already out, is out of that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some of that, I don't know, stuff onto these cables actually, so we can easily remove them. So they slide out really nicely, like that, so we don't damage them too much. Now we can remove that one. I still have a nut in the strut mount in place, just a tiny little bit, so it's not falling down. So that's the other bolt out of place. The brake line, of course, make sure you disconnect it before you get the bolts out of there, otherwise you will probably rip that off or yeah, do some damage to it. I'm gonna take off the, how do I say that, strut mount nut here. Now that's what I got out of there. And now we can just get this sucker out of there. Okay, that's the old damper, looks pretty used. And that's what was broken on the Nürburgring actually. I said my dampers or my springs are not in the best condition. You can see right there, the spring broke, right there. That's due to corrosion, due to old springs, due to the paint coming off the spring and then the rust is getting in there. Kind of a common thing with front-wheel drive cars, I heard. You don't need a spring compressor to get that off if you get new strut mounts. Yeah, because we have a new Federbeindomlager in German, which is the strut mount. This is going on to the, onto our new coilovers. This would go on like that. We did that with the other damper that's laying right there. Just to check where each nut is and yeah, how it's arranged. So the B14 comes with two nuts. One is self-securing, like I like to translate directly from German. So it has this little rubber inlet. So you screw it on with the rubber pointing upwards. That is the nut that is holding the strut mount, right? Yeah. We're going to take that off. We have this little plate. We are going to add another plate because it just comes with one plate and I don't like that. We're going to get that nut off as well. And we have a little, I think it's a 6mm hex or Allen to hold against inside of that thread. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our new strut mount and we're going to take one of the plates, the normal nut, put it on there, and we'll have to tighten it all the way down. And as soon as the thread is starting to turn as well, we'll need the Allen to hold against it. I think that's tight enough. Now you're going to notice you're going to still be able to turn everything. Okay, now the strut mount is in place. We are going to throw that in there, and from the top I'm going to try to mount everything together with that plate. Okay. Okay, I just firmly screwed it in there. Now down here, everything is just hanging around. Of course, we need to get the coupling rod in there. Like that. You'll see that your brake is hanging out like this. And to make your life easier, we can actually use a normal car jack for that. I'm gonna use the wishbone to lift it up. There you go. There you go. We can now get the jack out of there. And then we should be able to just, how do you say that? With a little bit of jiggling and jaggling, it should, there's a trick. Nice. Okay, that's, more or less in place. coupling rod is in place. Now before we tighten the strut bearing, let us get rid of all that shite in here. Ew, ugh, that's disgustingly much. Jesus, that's really disgusting. If you own a MiTo or anything like it with a similar plastic cover over your strut mounts, you should probably check that out once in a while. Oh, I get it. It's due to a clogged hose. There's actually a hose right here and it's clogged with all that dirt. And you can't have the water and all that stuff. I'm going to show you right now. Wait a second. Here. There. You see that hose right there? That one? That was clogged with stuff. You should definitely check that out once in a while. Okay, continuing with our strut bearing that you're hopefully still can see. Yeah. Okay, that's that. Taking an 18mm now, together with the Allen and okay, this will take ages. Okay, before I'll tighten everything down here, down in the wheel arch, I don't want to forget a very important thing, which is to grease the thread. You see that's loose now. I'm doing that because now I can turn that by hand, and when I grease everything, and this is grease that is holding up to -30 and plus 120 degrees Celsius. No idea what that is in Fahrenheit. So I'm just applying a little bit inside and around the entire thread. Okay, I don't know if I said it before, but it was kind of stupid for me to use the pressure tool on the coupling rod. You can actually hold against it, at least at the ones from Miele. Here there is a 16mm in the back of it to hold against it. So we can hold against that and then screw it back on. Next one is the two bolts down here. Okay. Okay guys, now here in the rear we have this bolt right there, and on the other side there's another one and it's hidden behind that trim. The first thing I want to undo actually is the long bolt that is going through your damper. I'm not sure if it's necessary to put the 18mm on that, because on the other side it was so stuck it wouldn't even move, so I wasn't sure if it's welded to that piece of metal here. It's 18mm back here. In there it's a special one. It's this one. No idea what it's called in English. It says E18 when it's really a 15mm normal socket from the size. Yeah, you can use the normal socket, but that's how I managed to get the bolts for the calipers round, because I wasn't really using that proper socket. I'm actually making my life a bit easier with pressurized tools. I was just showing you here that you don't really need them, so you can do it in your front yard, but I am gonna make use of that here. There you go. Surprise, surprise. I do have a new screw for that part, at least for that part. Yeah, should have looked into the others as well. The damper is loose now, at least down here. So that means we can push everything down to release the spring. So that's loose, and to get the spring out, At least on the other side it wasn't too bad to just twist it around like that. Now, we have the old damper and I'm going to disassemble the piece because we don't need that. We have a new one here. I don't really know why I did that. In my head I thought that there was a bearing inside, but this is actually just a piece of metal and you could really reuse that. You don't really need to get a new one. That was my mistake, but I want to keep this little dust cover together with that rubber. The Bilstein dampers, they come naked. While that isn't really a problem or anything, I just feel more comfortable if there was a cover here. So yeah, we're gonna use that cover even though it's not that pretty anymore then. And yeah, let's disassemble that. That's just a 16, yeah, and that's a 6mm. Little trick is to stick that tool here through that hole so that it blocks, and then you can use a little force to break the tool. Okay, that's great. Okay, as soon as that damper, bright yellow damper is in place, it's time for the spring. And then this goes in like that, okay? Here, right there, okay? So you put it into your spring, which is going to be equipped with your old, let's call it plate, like rubber plate for your spring. And that goes in just like that. You see that? So that's what you need from your old spring. Now let's hope that this does go together nicely. It seems like we need to do some more pushing. Somehow this side isn't so easy. Things, one of my arms isn't strong enough to hold it down while the other one can push it in. I'll give it another shot. Whew, okay. Guys, the end of the road. Managed to get the spring to a halfway compression, so the thread is at half way stopping. You get what I'm saying. I did the same on the other side as well, so both springs are kind of even now. Don't know about the front though, but we'll have to adjust them anyways. What's still missing is our loose bumper here. Bumper, damper. We are going to install that. Now, we can't really push that up anymore that easily because, yeah, I compressed that spring more and that's holding the axle more down, so I can't do that by hand. So we're going to lower the car, use a jack stand to compress the axle or to lift the axle, and then put the new bolt in, which should be around here. Okay guys, I think that's it. I think that's the ride height that I'm going with for now. You see that there's still a lot of room left for the wheel, to the wheel arch. That's because I was going after the regulations or recommendations in the official certificate that comes with the kit. So it is lower in the back, significantly lower in the back, but I'm not too sure about the front. However, that's what the recommendation, or like the legal recommendation of the kit is for German standards. I'm gonna just go to the TÜV and get new TÜV for the car, or like MOT in English. And then after that, I'll probably attempt to lower the car and get it there and, you know, see what they say. But for now, I'm really happy, and let's actually go for our first drive and first reaction. So, see you in a bit. Okay guys, 1 month of testing. Actually not really testing, because the car has been sitting a long time due to a dead battery. So I just replaced the battery now. I'm running the car again. After 1 month of driving, especially yesterday while I was taking the car for a wash, I was having a little moment. You see, I wasn't quite sure in the beginning, to be honest, if there's that much of a difference and if it's really worth it to get the B14. However, after driving a couple of times, I really feel like the car is riding a lot harder. It's not really a pro point, so it's actually a negative point if you want the comfortable ride that you had before. The car was comfortable in terms of being as comfortable as it can be while maintaining the sportier hot hatch ride feeling to it. I guess a lot of people will get what I'm saying. It's not like a Mercedes, okay? It's a sportier version of a hatchback from an Italian manufacturer. So anyways, now that we got that out of the way, it's still got a lot bumpier, a lot firmer. The suspension feels stiff. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Every little bump, you're gonna feel that. So that could be a negative point to a lot of people. For me, actually, it isn't. Yeah, it's not a long-term test right now. This has been the installment video, and this is my first thoughts on the suspension so far. I measured it as detailed as I can measure it. I'm riding on a 34 centimeter ride height in the rear and 35 actually centimeter in the front. Talking about axle center to the edge of the fender. So the front is actually a centimeter higher than the rear, and this is as low as it's more or less allowed with this suspension. That's another problem that I see with this suspension, is you don't get to go that low. It's not allowed. I mean, at least in Germany it's not. So you have this TÜV regulation and you have to stick to it. It's not that easy, you see, to have a nice low car in Germany. It's not. However, I am going to say, even though that is the low setting on this car, that is, you know, TÜV approved, and it's not really looking that low, it's really making a difference in terms of how it feels in the corners. And that's the perfect corner right here to demonstrate that. The car's warm, it's all right. That's phenomenally fast. Okay, now we're on the Autobahn, so it's no point in going fast now for the suspension. That corner right there is a perfect example of how well this car is now handling in these, let's call them consecutive corners. We can't really test the full potential, of course, until we've been to the Nürburgring. So we will do that sooner or later. Hopefully sooner than later. You'll have to wait on the Nürburgring testing of the B14 a little while. Anyways, here in the Autobahn, 100 kilometers an hour. No problems at all. It's not too stiff for my standards. It could be a total different story for you guys. However, I'm really happy that I bought the B14, and the only thing that's bothering me a little bit is the fact that I can't go as low as I wanted to initially. Maybe other suspensions like K&W, maybe these suspensions are allowing you to go a little bit lower in Germany. But to be fair, with the 18-inch wheels, the gap doesn't seem that bad in my perspective. That's probably because I was used to riding like something close to a bus before. But I guess it's also a benefit for our performance. You know, race cars have race car fitment. This is not a race car, don't get me wrong, but I want this to be able to shred some nice laps on the Nürburgring. That's the overall goal here. I think it's a good ride height. I might as well get the rear to match the front. I don't feel that comfortable to have 35 centimeters in the front and 34 only in the rear. So I might as well raise the car a bit in the rear again. You know, figure some stuff out. But that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it just as much as I do riding on this new suspension here. And I hope that inspires you to maybe look into suspensions for your hot hatch, or even MiTo probably if you're watching this. And yeah, in the end, would I recommend the B14? So far, clearly yes, if you're looking for performance improvement on a low budget. This is a low budget suspension for the MiTo. It's under 1,000 euros, which is not too much for a suspension that is improving your performance. What is next? Next up for performance for the MiTo, I don't know, maybe it's going to be the tires again. I gotta admit the tires are okay, but they're not track ready. Once again, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. As always, be sure to smash like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, because that's really helping me out to push out more videos for you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Okay. Tschüss. Nein. Ja, okay, stopp mal.